You are watching WDIO TV Duluth, WIRT Hibbing. The Northland Source for news, sports, and weather with Dennis Anderson, Steve LePage, and Colin Ventrella. This is Eyewitness News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. This is the night we narrow the field. The primary votes are coming in, and the stage is being set for the November general election. Let's go right to our election boards now and see what the voters have decided in this primary. In the IR race for governor, incumbent Arnie Carlson is defeating the IR-endorsed candidate Alan Quist 2-1. That means Carlson will get his name on the November ballot as he tries for a second term here in Minnesota. Now, he will run against either Mike Hatch or John Marty. Hatch is slightly out in front now, as we see here, but just a slim margin. In fact, they've been going back and forth throughout the night. John Marty is way ahead of Tony Boza. In fact, both of them are, but Hatch and Marty are neck and neck in the race here. In the U.S. Senate race, Ann Winia and Tom Foley are duking it out as DFL candidates. With about a third of the votes now in, Winia is coming out on top. Chances are she will go on to the general election. She has 59% of the vote now, with 35% for Foley. So that probably will mean that Winia will take on Rod Grams on the Republican side. Grams has easily beaten former Lieutenant Governor Jonell Deerstead. In the Wisconsin U.S. Senate race, incumbent Herb Kohl is easily defeating Edmund Jose on the Democratic side of the ledger. So that means Kohl will probably take on Republican challenger Robert Welch, who is out in front in a field of 4 candidates. Now in Wisconsin's District 7 House race, we'll change the board. Democrat incumbent Dave Obey is not being challenged by anyone from his own party. He's unopposed tonight. On the Republican side, as you can see here, Scott West is beating Charles Wenzel. If this continues to go, it will be West against Obey in November. However, these U.S. House district numbers are still pretty early on in the evening. We'll take a look at the Iron Range numbers and a lot more returns, but first, as we said, Ann Winia and John Marty are both getting their DFL endorsements. Both appear to be doing pretty well tonight. Colleen Mahoney joins us now live from the DFL election party, which is being held at the Casa de Roma restaurant. And so, Colleen, it looks like the DFL candidates who have gotten the endorsement are riding comfortably on the endorsement, or at least are benefiting from that endorsement.
Well, there are some mixed emotions here tonight at the DFL party headquarters. Now, endorsed candidate for Senate Ann Winia appears strong at this hour, but DFL gubernatorial candidate John Marty is, as you said, neck and neck in the state. And actually, right now, Dennis, Hatch seems to be beating Marty locally. Now, joining me now is Marty's running mate, Nancy Larson. What is your take on the returns?
I think it's going to be a long night. I think we're probably going to bounce around in the polls all night long, but I'm looking forward to winning.
Do you feel as if Marty's kind of fought an uphill battle all along during this campaign?
We always do. I think, we've operated differently. I think we've really made a point. We were told we could never run this kind of a campaign, but we've raised almost $600,000 from over 11,000 people for this campaign, and that's unheard of. No one's ever done it before. I'm excited about it.
You are the only candidate out here tonight up in Duluth. Can you tell us why you're up here?
I grew up in northeast Minnesota. I'm from the Iron Range, had family in Duluth and Cloquet, and I felt this is a place I should be, and was really happy to come here and spend some time with my friends up here.
Okay, thank you. They're expecting a long night here at DFL quarters, and we'll be here. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, thank you very much, Colleen. We'll be checking back with you later as the night progresses. Now let's go back to some numbers as returns keep coming in. In far northern Minnesota, House Speaker Irv Anderson of International Falls is expected to beat his DFL opponent Bill Larson. Now, there are just 3 of 39 precincts reporting, but we do know that Larson is trailing Anderson at this time. Chances are real strong that Irv Anderson will go against Republican Joyce Rood in the November general election. Rood is running tonight unopposed as an independent Republican. On the Iron Range, in the Minnesota Representative District 5A race, numbers are small. We find incumbent Tom Rukavina of Virginia beating and expected to beat fellow DFLer Nancy Nelson to get his name on the November ballot. Perennial candidate Matt Matisich is running as opposed as an IR. He will be the one who will probably be facing Rukavina again the next time around. On the other end of the Iron Range, we find David Tomasoni, the incumbent, meeting John Spanish head-on tonight in the DFL race. Again, numbers are very small here. The winner will face Mark Gretham, the independent Republican running tonight unopposed in the primary election on the far western end of the range. Up in Minnesota's Arrowhead country, a field of 11 candidates, all DFL, trying to survive the primary. We find that the DFLers will face off against in the general election against Jerry Schuster, who is an independent Republican. In Duluth District 7A representative race, Willard Munger is being challenged by two others. Munger will survive the primary, no doubt. He will be meeting Ryla Opelt, his IR contender. 2 months from now, Opelt is unopposed tonight as an independent Republican. Also in Duluth, in the race for District 7B representative, Mike Jaros is unopposed on the DFL side. Duluth City Councilor Chris Dahlberg right now is leading Lloyd Vigneault, both Republicans. So in November, it'll be Jaros probably and Dahlberg squaring off in that contest. In a part of Minnesota where local offices are filled by DFLers, the state's independent Republicans are watching closely what is happening in the statewide races. Duluth IR activist Kelly Herstead joins us now. Kelly, your reaction to what's happening tonight, particularly in the statewide races?
Well, I was rather interested, Dennis, on the fact that they're going into the race. There was the remote likelihood that all four endorsed candidates on both sides could possibly be defeated. As you have seen, it has not materialized. But at least Governor Carlson is mounting a successful challenge of Alan Quist's endorsement. And over on the Democratic side, candidate Marty is having a tight race on that side. So two of the four races are being challenged. And I think this is first in recent history that there's been that much interest in the primary on both parties.
Many Republicans have been saying right along, at least over the last several months, that perhaps Arnie Carlson is not conservative enough. This might prove that wrong, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm not sure if it'll prove it wrong as much as it perhaps will point out to people who are Republican activists that they must appeal to the broader base. I've had several people tell me that they crossed over specifically from the Democratic side to the Republican just to vote for Governor Carlson. So there is a broad appeal for him, both with Republicans, moderate Republicans, and Democrats. And I think it's being evidenced in his strong vote showing.
Did you expect Alan Quist to end up where he is ending up tonight?
I was surprised to this extent that if there was a small voter turnout, I had expected him to be very strong. With a larger voter turnout, and it appears in some areas in the state there is a larger voter turnout, then I felt the governor would do reasonably well.
What do you expect to see as the night wears on, Kelly? It looks like the Democrats are going to certainly gain some ground back up here in northern Minnesota once again, and statewide Senate races, for example.
Well, I think that the general election is going to be very interesting. I think you're going to have a Republican candidate who is more to the conservative rather than the centrist of the party. And I think you're going to have a person in Ann Winia who is more to the liberal than the centrist of her party. So you're going to have a strong contrast for senator. As far as the governor's race goes, it's going to be the incumbent, perhaps elder statesman of the people running against a relatively youthful newcomer on the state seat. So it's going to be very interesting.
All right, Kelly Herstead, thank you very much. I've just been told now that John Marty is standing by for an interview, and we're going to go now to St. Paul. We mentioned a few moments ago that it will be either Mike Hatch or John Marty running in the governor's race against Arnie Carlson in the November general election. And now let's go to John Marty in St. Paul. John, can you hear me there, please?
It's too early to tell what the final results are going to be, but we're working hard and we're optimistic about the numbers so far.
Well, what kind of trends have you seen from your people in the field?
Not enough trends yet to make any judgments, but we're optimistic about the final result being positive.
And you've got an enthusiastic crowd
We've
here
got
tonight.
a very enthusiastic crowd. It's been a people power, not a money powered campaign. And the thousands of people here are indicative of what it's been like through the whole campaign.
You just told the people in the crowd here that you've been, door knocking for the last couple of days. It's just been phenomenal, you said.
It's been phenomenal results. We're getting responses. I'm feeling good about it. And it's the people that give you the enthusiasm, and that's what's going to win tonight, and I think in November as well.
And your campaign is not lacking in confidence. I see a booth in the back of the room where you're planning a rally for next week.
We're working on the future as well. we're optimistic about how it's.
All right, John Marty, confident man there tonight. Now, with 18% of the vote now in, we're going to go back to the governor's boards and also take a look at the race for Senate here in the state of Minnesota. So let's go back to the governor's boards and see what the latest numbers are there. Again, this is with 18% of the vote now in. In that IR race for governor, incumbent Arnie Carlson is having no trouble getting away from Alan Quist. And on the DFL side, it is right now John Marty, 29,000 to Mike Hatch's 22,000. Tony Boza is trailing way back there with 17,211 votes. Now let's take a look at the Wisconsin Senate race. District 25 we're going to concentrate now on for a moment. Democrat Bob Jalk ran today unopposed, so he's going to meet either Goshkabosh or Russ Korpala, former mayor of Ashland. At this point, we don't exactly know yet who Jalk is going to run against. And we do know that Bob Jalk, though, is unopposed, so we'll have a look at where he will stand a little bit later on. Okay, now we're going to go to some other numbers here. This is now in the U.S. Senate seat here in Minnesota, and Winnie is having no problem over Tom Foley, 38,000 to Foley's look like 21,000 there. Okay, now in the 73rd District Assembly race, Frank Boyle is being returned to Madison. He was opposed tonight by Ron Thorson, the president of the Superior City Council. Boyle has won, and since there were no Republicans running in the primary in this race, Boyle will not have to compete in a November general election. In the Wisconsin Assembly District 74 race, there you see the Boyle-Thorson races. Boyle expected to take that without much trouble. In the Wisconsin Assembly District 74 race, incumbent Barb Linton having no trouble getting past fellow Democrat John Stedman. And again, since there is no Republican challenger, Linton will be reelected and will not have to run again in 2 months. In the Douglas County Sheriff's race, former Sheriff Dick Lindberg has tried again to get his old job back. Now let's take a look at the boards and see how things are shaping up. These numbers aren't all that strong yet. We understand that most of these results are from the city of Superior. We do know that Douglas County itself, outside the city, has been very good to Marv Arneson, but even in Superior, Arneson is leading Lindberg and Davidowski. Arneson, 1,943, Lindberg's 1,800, and Davidowski's 1,431. So we are finding incumbents being returned to office in northwestern Wisconsin. Our Mary Tan is now live at the Superior Douglas County Complex. Mary, the sheriff's race over there, what's happening to that contest?
Well, Dennis, definitely the Douglas County Sheriff's race is the race to follow tonight. Currently, as you just heard, incumbent Sheriff Marv Arneson is barely squeaking by Dick Lindberg. The numbers are still sketchy at this point, however, because the votes need to be driven in from the outlying areas. But what we do know is that it was a tough campaign with plenty of allegations, and the big issue in this race was the sheriff's budget. We all know that the budget has consistently been over for the last 5 years. Now, Arneson faced tough challengers, Dick Lindberg, the former Douglas County Sheriff, and Joe Davidowski, the retired Department of Natural Resources game warden. Now, what's really interesting in this race is that 2 years ago, in the 1992 election, Arneson lost by 55 votes in the city of Superior. Now, he says that he's going to depend on the rural outlying areas of Douglas County to bring him over the top, just like it happened in 1992.
All right, Mary Tan, live from Superior, thank you very much. There are a number of other sheriff's races here in the Northland, in both Minnesota and in Wisconsin, of course, in St. Louis County. Incumbent Gary Waller is hoping to get back in there again. He is meeting two top vote getters, or two challengers tonight, John Miller and Alan Aho. Waller is expected to easily come out as the top vote getter in that one. Waller right now has 1,032. Miller is coming in second with 401, and Aho has slightly less than that. Now, in the Aiken County Sheriff's race, we do see that the incumbent Rick Passer is getting competition from Tim Catlin and Tom Gorsuch. In Cook County tonight, incumbent John Light facing competition from 4 others. We don't have any results there tonight. In fact, we've been told in some of these outlying counties that we may not have results in some of these races until midnight or thereabouts. In Wisconsin, the Washburn County Sheriff's Contest, incumbent Terry Dryden facing fellow Republican Tom Ennis tonight. The winner there will be meeting Lester Marsh in November. Marsh, the Democrat, was unopposed in the primary. In Ashland County, the incumbent sheriff, John Kovach, is not seeking re-election, so it's a brand new field of candidates. Robert Menard is the Democrat. He'll face off in November against either Michael Hansen or Robert Holmes, both Republicans. Right now, we do not know who is out in front. In the sheriff's race in Pine County, incumbent Don Faulkner facing competition from Steve Havistow and Rodney Ripley. Again, no numbers available there. In the mayor's race over in Cloquet, incumbent Don Panger not seeking re-election this time around. A long list of candidates. The two top voters, and the vote getters rather, will move on in November. A number of candidates vying for the mayor's job in Hermantown, too. Acting Mayor Fran Hubert, who replaced Mayor Wally Loberg, who died this summer, wants that position now in her own right. In Hibbing, the city clerk's race is one to follow. Former city clerk Pat Garrity would like to get his old job back. He's been out of that job for several years. He's facing competition from Kathy Bowdick and Jeff Young. Again, the top two will move on to the general election. Other statewide races, Minnesota Attorney General Skip Humphrey has easily survived the Democratic primary. He will face IR challenger Sharon Anderson in November. We've just been told now that Ann Winia has officially won in the U.S. Senate race here in Minnesota. Minnesota Auditor Mark Dayton is leaving his job. DFLer Donald Moe beating George Perpich and Todd Otis on the DFL side with about 6% of the vote in there. On the IR side is Judy Dutcher, who could face Donald Moe in November. For Minnesota Treasurer, incumbent Mike Grath, the DFLer will be challenged. Wisconsin's incumbent Secretary of State Doug LaFollette will square off in November against his competition. There's a lot of competition there against him tonight, but Doug LaFollette will no doubt be in the race. In the race for Wisconsin Treasurer, we find here that Becker and Voigt will meet in the November election. And so that is the latest election results we have at this hour. We'll be updating the coverage later as this newscast continues. Again, the official one that we've just received now is that Ann Winia has indeed won in her race for the U.S. Senate. We're going to take a break now from politics and turn briefly to weather. It was a cloudy day around here, but in the Twin Ports you couldn't see the clouds because there was too much fog. Colin Ventrella with First Weather.
I told you at 6 o'clock I voted for nicer weather. That didn't show up on any of your reports. But that's what we want around here, and it may take a while to get here.
All right.
There is no longer a flash flood watch out for northern Wisconsin tonight. That's the best news I have to pass along. Here's the next item. The current conditions: cloudy skies, Harbor 62, Airport 60, Superior's got 64 degrees, Hibbing checks in with 67, easterly winds at 12 right now. Forecast for tomorrow: cloudy skies again, 50% chance of rain, high temperature of 70. And when will we see the sun? Well, we'll check the long-range forecast in a few minutes.
All right, we'd like to see it soon. Thank you. Still to come tonight, we'll continue our election coverage with updates on voting results, and we'll look at the day's other news, including the crime bill that became law this afternoon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Eyewitness News will continue after this from Telephone Associates Incorporated of Superior, the Northland's premier business telephone systems company.
There are a lot of them out there, but when it comes to choosing your telephone system, only one makes sense: Telephone Associates Incorporated of Superior. At Telephone Associates, our highly trained staff can analyze your current business needs, even project for future expansion. We'll outfit you with state-of-the-art NEC equipment, a telephone system specifically designed to fit any business. We provide local service by expert technicians, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your convenience. The choice is clear. Call Telephone Associates Incorporated.
When you get your energy from an electric cooperative, the person making all the big decisions isn't someone like this. At least not without someone like this. And this. And this. Because in an electric co-op, we all have a voice in how we provide the best service, the most energy, and the lowest possible prices for your community. No matter how big you are. Arrowhead Electric Cooperative and United Power Association.
Question. Name Motor Trend's 94 Truck of the Year. What truck offers overall the most powerful lineup of engines on the planet and is only at your Dodge dealer? Answer, Dodge Ram. Now get to work. For all the answers, see your nearest Dodge dealer. Question. Why is now the perfect time to buy a new Dodge car or truck? Answer, the Dodge Summer Clearance Celebration. So hurry in, right now.
If it wasn't for Walmart, I guess Remington would be in pretty bad shape.
Walmart has helped us a great deal by supporting products made in the United States.
You make products in the United States, you keep the work here, so it's important, you know? Made in America, that's it. Our jobs are at stake, so you know we have to try hard.
We work as a team, we get the job done. We're the best in the world.
Made in the USA, right here in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
We have other news to report besides election results. In Washington, D.C., there's new information about yesterday's plane crash at the White House. According to autopsy results, pilot Frank Corder, who was killed in the crash, had a blood alcohol level slightly above the legal limit for pilots. He also had a slight trace of cocaine in his blood system. Corder had a history of alcohol and drug abuse. His family speculates he was trying to imitate the pilot who flew into Red Square during the 1980s. Another family member said he had been talking about suicide by flying a plane into the White House. Other news from the White House today, too. The crime bill is now law, and the city of Duluth is hoping to get a half dozen more police officers as a result. President Clinton signed the $30 million measure today in a ceremony on the South Lawn. The new law puts an immediate ban on some assault-style weapons. It also provides funding for law enforcement agencies to hire up to 100,000 more police. President Clinton said that crime and fear have become so commonplace that it's costing Americans their freedom. He says this anti-crime package should change all that. And the White House is saying that an invasion of Haiti would be small compared to the Gulf War. Press Secretary Dee Myers argued today that because of the minor scale of such an operation, they should not need congressional approval. She said an invasion of Haiti should be compared to the invasions of Grenada and Panama that took place during the Reagan and Bush administrations. The flow of refugees from Cuba has stopped, according to the Coast Guard. They say it's due to a combination of bad weather and a crackdown by local police. Under terms of a deal made with the United States, Cuba has banned rafters from leaving for the U.S. This afternoon, the beaches around Havana were deserted for the first time in weeks. The Coast Guard picked up only about 3 dozen refugees total today. Still to come on Eyewitness Sports, the future of the Major League Baseball season may be determined tomorrow. And the UMD volleyball team makes another major jump in the national polls. Steve LePage with those stories and more coming right up.
Eyewitness News will continue after this from the Fun Duluth Casino. Las Vegas excitement lights up downtown Duluth.
Settle up, partner. It's time for rootin', tootin', shootin' days at FDL Corral in downtown Duluth. The folks at the Fun Duluth Casino are fixing to kick up their heels and honor their 8th birthday. Look for silver bullet specials throughout the entire casino all month long. Over $45,000 in loot and prizes will be given away during the month of September. Ooh-wee! That's some celebrating. Now, if you want a chance to win, saddle on up for rootin', tootin', shootin' days at FDL Corral in downtown Duluth.
Filter. Looks like we need the small filter wrench for this one, and we're just about done. You know, being a successful do-it-yourselfer is not that difficult, especially if you have some help from Champion Auto Stewards. And you'll find additional help in the form of our new Car Care Seminar videotape. 12 easy auto repairs that will really help you keep your car in shape. And if you want to change filters, now's the time to do it, because if you buy one, you'll get one for free. It's all part of what you'll find at Champion Auto Stewards. Right products, right prices, and right answers.
If you're thinking of getting a new battery for your car, Walmart has good news for you.
Now, every new Energizer or Champion Silver Core car battery from Walmart comes with a 2-year free replacement guarantee.
That's 2 full years with free replacement.
And 1-year free replacement on every new Omega battery.
So come on into Walmart for the batteries and the prices you can always count on.
Always low prices, always Walmart.
Something big is happening at your Northland Ford dealer. Just announced, straight from the factory, big factory-to-dealer incentives on America's #1 selling trucks. We're talking 94 Ford F-Series pickups with special incentives that will save you big money. Choose from F-150s, 250s, and 350s, 4x2s or 4x4s, regular cabs and super cabs, manual transmissions and automatics, every one with huge factory-to-dealer incentives. But hurry, these special incentives end September 28th, so see your Northland Ford dealer now.
Tomorrow's going to be a very important day, Steve, for baseball fans.
It certainly could, and the big question I have been asking myself all day, is there really a season worth salvaging anymore?
We'll find out.
Because we're in the middle of September, and it's just not going to happen overnight, even if they decide to save it. Baseball fans could learn tomorrow the fate of the season. The players' strike is now into its 33rd day, and Acting Commissioner Bud Selig has said he will make a decision on whether or not to call off the remaining schedule tomorrow. Only the most optimistic feel Selig will give baseball yet another reprieve. No talks are scheduled, and just about everyone on both sides has resigned themselves to the fact that the season is over.
Unless the players themselves come off strike, I don't think we see any reason to continue the season. The players can unilaterally decide to come back and play, but we're not going to have an agreement for sure. in any short period of time. It's going to be a long negotiations well into October, November, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, the Twins have wasted little time in naming a successor to former general manager Andy MacPhail. Today, club owner Carl Pohlad kicked player personnel director Terry Ryan upstairs to the position of GM. Ryan started in the Twins organization as a scout in 1986. Now he knows he's got a tough job following MacPhail, but he feels the Twins have the talent to compete.
We have some people coming along that we're confident that can help us get back to where we want to get. Yet we have a pretty good nucleus here to work with, so I have huge shoes to fill. That guy's as good as there is in the game, and I know it, and I have to take the positives that he left here, and I'll build on them, but I've got to be my own guy, and I know that as well.
In Ryan's first move on the job, today he extended the contract to Twins field manager Tom Kelly through the 1997 season. Well, the UMD volleyball team continues to make a strong impression on a national level. The Bulldogs, who are off to a 6-0 start, have solidified their standing in the NCAA Division II national poll. The Bulldogs vaulted from 7th all the way to the 2nd position in this week's rankings. The Dogs trail only top-rated Northern Michigan. UMD entered this season with some very lofty expectations, and right now they're backing them up.
I think this group is actually walking the talk that they had in the beginning of the season. This is probably the best overall, person for person, top to bottom group that I've had. They're well skilled all the way around. They not only can play front row, they can play back row. They're a good team, and they work together well. And Kristen Naughton, I would say, has been a real strong point for us as a setter because she's really brought the group together, and they want to play for her, and that's been great.
In college volleyball this evening, it was Northland over St. Scholastica in 3 straight games, and Minnesota Morris also in 3 straight tonight over Bemidji State. Well, the pollsters continue to be impressed with the Deer River High School football team. The Warriors are #1 again this week in the Minnesota State Class B football poll. Steve Ott's team is 2-0 after last Friday night's 20-14 win over Esco. And the date of September 17th has been circled on the calendars of many area bow hunters. This Saturday marks the opening of the bow hunting season for white-tailed deer in both Minnesota and Wisconsin. As expected, places like Duluth Archery on Rice Lake Road have been extra busy this week. Most serious hunters are checking their gear and sharpening their eye in preparation for this year's bow season.
Some people taper off towards it. When the season comes around, they grab the bow, climb in the tree, and they don't shoot as much. But it's important to continue to shoot. Things change, it gets cold, put bulkier equipment on, bulkier clothing. You can hit your arm, and that can cause problems. Some people shorten the draw length on their bow a little bit, and these are the guys that can help you out with that and tell you if that's what you need to do.
Tomorrow night at 10, we'll tell you a little more about what bow hunters are doing to get ready for their annual trek into the woods. That story on our Up North segment. That'll be tomorrow night at 10, Denny. And I'll tell you what, brisk business out at Duluth Archery today.
I can imagine all sorts of fall sports coming up right now, aren't there? Okay, starting with bull hunting, certainly. Weather's up next. Colin Ventrella's got a forecast that hopefully could include a little bit of sunshine. Colin?
Well, it may take a while, but we'll get our sunshine back. High today, 66, low of 60 degrees. The averages are on the screen. Sunrise tomorrow, 6:45. All the latest weather details next.
Hi folks, at Egerbrecht Chevrolet, we take pride in our quality pre-driven vehicles. One low payment and one large selection. For only $55 down and $179 per month, you won't go wrong with this 87 Nissan Pathfinder, 88 Chev, full-size pickup, 92 Mercury Topaz. That's right, $55 down and only $179 per month. Quality, selection, and value, you'll find that and more in your next car from Egerbrecht Chevrolet, where you, the customer, are always #1.
Kitchen remodeling is easy with Elger sinks from Menard. Elger cast iron sinks have a high gloss enamel finish and come in many styles to fit your needs. A white double bowl sink is $139. Price Pfister faucets dress up your kitchen. Choose from many styles. This double-handled faucet is just $29.69. A single-handled with spray is $59.88. Discover redecorating savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Eyewitness Weather is brought to you by McDonald's, where what you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
We certainly didn't see any sunshine here in the Twin Ports today. Matter of fact, we didn't even see any clouds. It was solid fog.
And the fog is still out there in many areas, and visibility is way down, so be careful on the roadways.
We will do that.
Once again, the flash flood watch posted for northern Wisconsin has been canceled.
That's good news.
Time, and that is very good news. I want to show you what's on radar right now. And at the moment, there's not much in northeastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. However, in central and southern Wisconsin, there's a little bit of trouble. That's why those folks down there have a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. Nothing for our area at this time. Let's take a look at the current conditions. 62 at the harbor, 60 at the airport, 64 in Superior. Hibbing's got 67 degrees. And we have cloudy skies, visibility 15 miles, or I should say 2 miles there. I got a little ahead of myself. Easterly winds at 12 miles per hour. Humidity 96%. A little bit of precip here in the Twin Ports, and the barometer is now starting to rise. Let's check out regional temperatures. 60 International Falls, 67 degrees in Virginia, 66 in Grand Rapids, 70 in Brainerd. Got 68 and some rain down in the Twin Cities. 67 in Rochester and Spooner, 69 right now in Wausau. Different air mass for Milwaukee, and it's a beautiful evening, a very sticky evening for them with 80 degrees. Houghton, 60 degrees, 64 in Ironwood, 61 right now in Grand Marais. Let's take a look at the latest satellite map. There it is, and we have a stationary front draped right across the northern states just like this, and along that front there are all kinds of clouds and some showers. As a matter of fact, earlier today, Friendship, Wisconsin had a big thunder boomer that produced 80-mile-an-hour winds. Tornado touched down this afternoon, early this evening, near La Crosse, Wisconsin, and it's been a big mess for the folks just to the south of us. But here in northern Minnesota, a lot of clouds, a little bit of drizzle, and some fog for Lake Superior. Midsection of the country looks nice. Here's tomorrow's forecast map, and it indicates that that frontal system is still there. It may change in form to a warm front, but it's still hanging over Minnesota and Wisconsin. That means there's still going to be some clouds, a chance of rain in our forecast. And temperatures, well, they'll be comfortable for this time of year, but if you want the sun, you may have to wait a few days until this low pressure trough clears on out of here. Let's take a look at temperatures for tomorrow, and we should be in the 70s and 80s across Minnesota and Wisconsin. We'll be back with the local forecast after this message from McDonald's.
I hear Garth Brooks is in the building today.
Oh, I just got a CD at McDonald's.
Garth's
favorites. It's gotten much too young and wild. How does that one go? Yeah.
Oh, the white line. Guy puts on a cowboy hat and said, "Oh, he thinks he's Garth Brooks."
Get Garth's favorites. Each full-length CD is just $5.99. Each cassette $3.99 when you buy any extra value meal or large sandwich. Or get these other hot artists. $1 from each CD and cassette benefits Ronald McDonald Children's Charities.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's.
I'm ready for the forecast tonight. Cloudy skies, some fog for northeastern Minnesota. Overnight lows 58 to 62 with easterly winds at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Now, for tomorrow, look for more clouds out there. 50% chance of rain in northeastern Minnesota, 60% chance in northwestern Wisconsin. Highs 70 to 72 degrees. Southeasterly winds blowing at about 5 to 15, meaning it'll be cooler along the shores of Lake Superior. Tomorrow night, look for a 50 or 60% chance of rain. Overnight low 60 to 62 degrees. And then for the next day, yes, the next day, click it for me, Thursday, we are looking at clouds, a 50% chance of rain, and highs anywhere from 72 to 74. Now, the extended outlook, please, calls for a chance of showers again on Friday, and sunshine Saturday and Sunday. And by the way, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow, get a load of this Northern Nights 94 coming up at the Ulworth Planetarium, and they'll have telescopes on display there. They'll have all kinds of exhibits and programs. That's tomorrow night, 7 to 9:30, Ulworth Planetarium. It's free.
Should be a fun time. Okay, we'll be back with more election results. Stay with us, more to come.
Question: what's America's #1 selling minivan? What minivan is under $16,400 with all this and is only at your Dodge dealer? Answer: Dodge Caravan. So go get the family. For all the answers, see your nearest Dodge dealer today. Question: why is now the perfect time to buy a new Dodge car or truck? Answer: the Dodge Summer Clearance Celebration. So hurry in right now.
In a land of 240 million people, we forget how important each person can be. But it took only 12 Americans to force pharmaceutical companies to put child-proof caps on bottles. 12 Americans took unsafe cars off America's roads. In fact, men and women on juries have done as much to protect our freedom as any government agency. Because without justice, there can be no freedom. Without our legal system, there can be no justice.
Choosing the right heating and cooling dealer used to be a real guessing game.
Furnace man!
But now, with Lennox Quality Dealer Standards, Lennox products and dealers are an unbeatable team.
When you buy Lennox equipment from Arbor Heating, you also get our professional installation and commitment to customer satisfaction.
Call today. Mike's Heating Sheet Metal meets the same high standards as Lennox equipment. Call them for the very best in service and installation.
Quality Dealer Standards, only from Lennox.
Building our luxury family sedan, the Chrysler Concorde, we thought of everything, starting with spacious cab-forward design. We gave it dual airbags and child protection rear door locks, ran it for millions of miles, subjected it to thousands of decibels, and hundreds of hours in a wind tunnel. All this to make sure not only did we think of everything, we thought of everyone. Chrysler Concorde, a thoughtful expression of form following function.
We are narrowing the field tonight as the primary results keep rolling in. Now let's check once again for the race for governor to see how things are going. First of all, in the IR race for governor, incumbent Arnie Carlson is having no problem getting by the IR endorsed candidate Alan Quist with 34% of the vote now in. 34% of the vote now in. Carlson at 57,000, Quist 28,000. So Arnie Carlson will probably, without any doubt here, be running again in the November general election. This will be his second term of office he is trying for. Now, what's going to happen on the DFL side? He is going to run against either John Marty or Hatch, Mike Hatch. Right now, Marty is leading Hatch by about 7,000 votes. This has been back and forth a lot tonight. Marty, 29,000, Hatch, 22,000. Tony Boza does not have a chance now as things start to really pull away from him. Right now, it looks like, and again, this could change, but it looks like incumbent Governor Arnie Carlson will be meeting John Marty in the November general election. Again, that is a little bit too close to call yet. Nobody downstate has called that yet either. However, in the U.S. Senate race, former House Majority Leader Ann Wynia has now won the DFL nomination for U.S. Senate. In fact, the latest vote total just in, Wynia now has 70,000 votes and Foley 36,000. So Wynia is officially the winner in this particular race. Former House Majority Leader Ann Wynia defeating DFL nomination, has won the DFL nomination for the U.S. Senate over Foley. Now, let's go to St. Paul and Wynia being interviewed down there on tonight's victory.
What are you seeing? We're delighted. We feel really good about the results that are coming in and just look forward to getting the rest of these returns.
How are you spending the rest of the evening? Just waiting?
Well, I'll probably be spending some time with my friends and enjoying myself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
She obviously looks like a very happy woman. Former House Majority Leader Ann Wynia winning the DFL nomination for the U.S. Senate. Now, she's going to meet who? She's going to meet Rod Grams on the Republican side. Rod Grams has officially defeated his challenger, Lieutenant Governor Jonell Deerstead. Rod Grams now has 80,000 votes, and Jonell Deerstead 51,000. It's official. Congressman Rod Grams has easily won there. So it's going to be Ann Wynia against Rod Grams in the general election in November. Okay, over in Wisconsin now, in the Wisconsin U.S. Senate race, incumbent Herb Kohl is having no problem at all getting by Edmund Jose on the Democratic side of the ledger. So that means Kohl will probably take on Republican challenger Robert Welch, who is out in front in a field of 4 candidates on the IR side. In Wisconsin's District 7 U.S. House race, Democrat incumbent David Obey, if we can go to that board here, David Obey is not being challenged from anyone in his own party. On the Republican side, we find Scott West is in front of Charles Wenzel to challenge Obey in November. Again, these numbers are still quite small, but right now it appears that West will win this particular race. In far northern Minnesota tonight, House Speaker Irv Anderson of International Falls is expected to beat his opponent, DFL opponent Bill Larson. This means that Anderson will be running against Republican Joyce Rood in the November general election. Rood is running unopposed as an independent Republican. On the Iron Range in the Minnesota Representative District 5A race, again, these numbers are very small. People have told us up there it could be some time before the totals are in. Incumbent Tom Rukavina of Virginia is expected to beat fellow DFLer Nancy Nelson to get his name on the November ballot. Perennial candidate Matt Matisich running unopposed as an IR and will be facing Rukavina the next time around. On the other end of the Iron Range, David Tomasoni, the incumbent, is meeting John Spanish head-on tonight in the DFL race. Again, very small numbers. It is expected, though, that Tomasoni will be winning this. However, again, it's a little early to call, but Tomasoni has gone into this race as the favorite. The winner there will face Mark Gretham, the independent Republican, running tonight unopposed. In Minnesota's Arrowhead country, a field of 11 candidates, all DFL, trying to survive the primary. We'll find up here that the winner is going to square off against Jerry Schuster in the general election. In Duluth District 7A representative race, Willard Munger being challenged by two others, both DFLers. Munger is surviving again. He is surviving the primary to meet Ryla Opelt, his IR contender. 2 months from tonight, Opel is unopposed this evening. And in Duluth, in the race for District 7B representative, Mike Jaros, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, is unopposed. On the DFL side, Duluth City Councilor Chris Dahlberg is ahead of Lloyd Vigneault, both Republicans. Dahlberg has gone into this race as the favorite. He is a city councilor here in the city of Duluth. Whoever wins the Dahlberg-Vigneault race will meet Jaros in November. A look now at the Wisconsin Senate race, District 25. Democrat Bob Jalk is running today unopposed. He will meet either Goshkabosh or Russ Korpela, the former mayor of Ashland. Korpela right now is out in front. So at this point, if this continues, it'll be Jalk and Korpela in November. In the 73rd District Assembly race, Frank Boyle being returned to Madison. He was opposed tonight by Ron Thorson, both Democrats. The president of the Superior City Council is Thorson. Boyle has won. Since there's no Republicans running in the primary in this race, Boyle will not have to compete in a November general election. We were hoping to have a live interview with Boyle. That has not yet come in, so we'll just kind of hang on here. In the Wisconsin Assembly District 74 race, incumbent Barb Litton is having no trouble getting past fellow Democrat John Stedman. Again, since there is no Republican challenger, Linton has been reelected and will not have to run again in 2 months. Now in the Douglas County Sheriff's race, former Sheriff Dick Lindberg has tried to get his old job back, but he's not doing it. Here's how it's shaping up. There still are a lot of votes to come in. This is the one to watch over there in Douglas County, but it looks like Marv Arneson is out in front, not by a large margin, but again, in that particular race, we do know that the race in the county has been much more favorable to Arneson than the race in the city of Superior. Those were basically city numbers. In the St. Louis County Sheriff's race here in Minnesota, Gary Waller at this particular point is having no real problem getting by Aho and Miller. Waller with 1,596 and Aho 602. The two top vote getters here will go on to the November general election. Right now it looks like it will be Aho who will meet Waller in November. Okay, that's a look at what we have so far on the boards this evening. There are a number of other races around the region, sheriff's races in a number of other counties, such as Washburn County, Ashland County. There's also a race over in Pine County for sheriff. In a lot of those races, though, again, we've been told that those numbers will probably be in quite late tonight. There's a mayor's race in Cloquet. Incumbent Don Panger is not seeking re-election. There's a long list of candidates there. There's also a number of candidates vying for the mayor's job in Hermantown tonight. Acting Mayor Fran Hubert is replaced Mayor Wally Loberg. Mayor Loberg died just about a month or so ago, and now she wants that office in her own right. And We find also there's a sheriff's race in Washburn County and over in Ashland County, Wisconsin. So there are a number of contests that still are not available and probably won't be for a while. Another statewide race here in Minnesota worth mentioning. Minnesota Attorney General Skip Humphrey has easily survived the Democratic primary. He is going to be facing IR challenger Sharon Anderson come November. And Minnesota Auditor Mark Dayton is leaving his job. DFLer Donald Moe is beating George Perpich and Todd Otis on the DFL side. Right now, we find that Moe will probably be facing off with Judy Dutcher in the November general election. Minnesota Treasurer, incumbent Mike McGrath, the DFLer, is going to be challenged by Olson. And if we have any others here, we do know that Wisconsin incumbent Secretary of State Doug LaFollette will be squaring off against Jackson in November. And the Wisconsin Treasurer race, it will be Becker and Voigt. So that's the latest election results as we have them at this hour. Again, Governor Carlson has beaten Alan Quist tonight, and Winia and Rod Grams will be facing off in the November general election for the U.S. Senate. It looks right now like Marv Arneson is coming on a little strong in Douglas County. That'll be the race to watch over there. But again, that could go on yet for some time here tonight. So those are the latest election results as we have them at Eyewitness News. Of course, tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, we'll have all the complete results for you with Julie Sorum. I'll be back in just a moment, but first, this message.
Buick owners, we know you love the Buick you're driving now. After all, you gave Buick its reputation for owner loyalty. Now, we're giving you something back. The Buick Owner Bonus. Make your best deal on a new Buick, then save even more. Get a special incentive direct from the factory. It's only for Buick owners, and it's only for a limited time. So see your Buick dealer now and save big on the Buick Owner Bonus. Hurry, you've earned it.
We're going to double all the Powerball cash prizes between $1 and $100,000. Hi, I'm Mike Pace, and for 4 weeks, that's 8 Powerball drawings, you'll have a chance to double all your prizes except the jackpot with the Powerball Doubler. Just purchase a $5 Powerball ticket for any drawing during this promotion, and you're eligible for that drawing. We'll even guarantee these prizes will double at least once during the promotion. So don't miss out on the exciting Powerball Doubler.
I hear Garth Brooks is in the building today.
Oh, I just got a CD at McDonald's.
Garth's favorites.
It's gotten much too young and wild. How's that one go? You know.
Oh, the white line.
Guy puts on a cowboy hat and suddenly he thinks he's Garth Brooks.
Get Garth's favorites. Each full-length CD is just $5.99. Each cassette $3.99 when you buy any extra value meal or large sandwich. Or get these other hot artists. $1 from each CD and cassette benefits Ronald McDonald Children's Charities.
There's only one place for the widest selection in front-wheel drive minivans. From high performance to high performance. From the long of it to the short of it. From emerald green to light driftwood. From the value priced to the lap of luxury. From seats that glide to seats that unfold. From grocery bags to airbags. From bumper to bumper, door to sliding door. The one place for it all is our place. The Minivan Store. At your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Owners and players continue to fight, and the season is all but lost. It's a game that's losing money, losing fans, and quickly losing time. Will baseball ever be the same? That's next on Nightline. Have a good night, everybody, and be kind.
Classroom of Tomorrow is happening today in Wisconsin, preparing kids for the future, teaching the skills they'll need to compete. Governor Tommy Thompson's program of School to Work and Apprenticeship has business and schools working together in communities throughout Wisconsin, and it's working so well. All America is following our lead, which says a lot for Wisconsin. First again, where it counts the most. Tommy Thompson, making it happen.